Hello and welcome to another episode of the Construction Corner Podcast. I'm Dylan, I'm your host, and today...
How I became an electrician was college just wasn't for me. I like to have a good time, whatever, so college was short-lived. Buddy of mine I went to school with, his uncle ran an electrical contracting company, and he started hiring us part-time to do demo work, and from there he approached me to do an apprenticeship. So I did the apprenticeship program, took time off of school, and then just never went back. Finished an apprenticeship program, the 4 years, and then worked for those guys for a little while, and then went to another electrical contracting company out of Sioux Center, Iowa, Interstate Electric. Did a lot of industrial electrical work, Cargill plants, ethanol plants. Traveled around the country for about 2 years doing that, and then moved back to Iowa, where I was from. Got in the commercial side. Ended up getting my journeyman license there, running projects at that company, and then end up taking a job in Chicago in the distribution sales world, because I just got tired of the labor side of things, and started off in the inside sales, customer support, just learning the distribution side of things, and then kind of just grew my way through there. Got in the lighting side, and that's kind of where the lighting side came about. This knowing LED was coming around, technology was a lot more interesting, and then from there, just seeing the market, and then from dealing with lighting reps, contractors, end users, stuff like that, there was a lot of opportunity in the market, especially in Chicago being such a big space. Ended up going on my own and starting a lighting rep agency in Chicago with basically one manufacturer, one guy, and we just hustled the company for about 11 years, built it up. And that's where the opportunity came for the engineering side, is dealing with contractors, the design and build world. A lot of their complaints was, having a reliable engineer. And then, being in the Arete Syndicate with Dylan and learning, what he does, and then actually had an opportunity to do a project, called Dylan up, and the rest is kind of history. We figured out a niche in the market, going direct to market to the contractors from the engineering side. I didn't know that wasn't a thing. Dylan figured out that there was really nobody else doing it, and I had a lot of relationships from the last 10, 15 years of being in the business. So we started approaching these contractors and asking them, where they need help, how we can help them, and just offering another service, right? And that's my whole thing is with any company, where it's like, how do we become a better service provider to our clients, right? Better solutions, thinking outside the box, working with them instead of telling them what to do. We're collaborating with them from start to finish to figure out, okay, here's what we're doing on the project. What do you guys think? How can we help you? And having that feedback, the contractor buys in on that relationship, right? And so it just becomes a people business, and getting to know these guys and helping them. And the rest has been kind of history with the way we're growing. Year 1, year 2, and now year 3, we're probably 100% growth.
300, then, depending on how you want to do this year, it's another 10x.
Yeah, so it works, right? But it's just, seizing the opportunity, right? Not being afraid to take a risk. And if you think it's going to be something that you can turn into a real business model, we just tried it out, and here we are. So that's kind of the path that is the path that I took. And, nothing that I never knew I wanted to be an electrician. I didn't know anything about electricity. But, when I screwed off in college enough, you figure out you have to go get a job. So, and that was, and I was, come from a small town in Iowa, farm boy, working, that's all we did was manual labor. So working wasn't a hard thing. It's just all we ever knew. And then, like I said, finding opportunities, networking with the right individuals, and creating that clientele that we could go back to has paid off dividends for us so far. But, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of opportunities out there, but there's a lot of people that don't want to take the chance to go after it. You get stability. People like stability. For me, it's just like, how can we make this thing better and better and better? Build the culture, find the right guys that move at the same pace that we do, and that's the other thing too. It's a very fast-pacing industry, especially in the design build world, and dealing with some of these projects we deal with. It's like behind schedules, trying to catch up on schedules. Not trying to overpromise, underdeliver, but it's hard to say no when you're starting a company. You want the business, you want the clients, you want the revenue, but you got to be careful on the projects we take on. And having a partner that knows that side of the world in engineering, I'm a yes man because I'm naturally a sales guy, but you have a conversation, figure out if it's worth it, and jump in and go. And it's worked out okay. So. Yeah, good. But, what are you, Sam? Any questions from you?
How did you guys meet?
So, we were part of a business networking group called Arete Syndicate. Ed Milet, Andy Frisella started it, 5-6 years ago? 8 years ago. So I've been in it for five years. And how we met was there was a couple guys in the Arete group that started basically, like, they found the construction guys in that group, and we started a separate call, like one month on Fridays. We'd all jump on from all over the country and talk about business practices. You know, what's going on in their market, what they're struggling with. And we had, at the time we had quite a few guys on it, probably 20-30 guys at one point. And it's fizzled down to like maybe 15 now. But it's a core group of guys, all different markets. And that's where I met him and that. So, like I said, just networking, right? Getting to know people. You never know who you're going to run into. Could be your next business opportunity. Could be your next job. You never know. So, for me, that's been the biggest thing for me is getting to know people, surrounding yourself with the right people. And that's how we met. I mean, I don't want to say the biggest challenge is just, getting in front of the right clients, right? Figuring out who needs engineering, who has engineering, what project, because all these guys hit different projects at different times, right? So you got to actually have cash flow to grow a company. So cash was very sporadic, so you really got to bootstrap it. Keep investing the money back into the company. But as far as challenges, I mean, right now on the growth pattern is finding the right people, right? Finding the right engineers, the right technology to bring along with us. It takes time, right? We don't want to just hire anybody, so it's like going through a lot of people to figure out, what the style of engineer that we like in the company that's going to help the company, the culture, the mission. I would say that's probably our biggest challenge at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo that. Like, we want to grow a culture, real company. It's not just a bunch of mercenaries that come together to, attack one project at a time, right? It's like growing a whole team of engineers that can cover a whole breadth of projects, from something that's super small to something that's massive, 1 million square feet or bigger, in all different sectors, right? From retail to manufacturing to hospitality to schools to, whatever the project entails. That's huge for us. Can we grow and create a team of engineers that can work on, you're working on healthcare one day in Oshpod and all the healthcare codes, to you're doing a retail strip center the next, which is a total different mindset, and not just like the difficulty level in the engineering project, but like costs, right? Like you have to have a completely different mindset around like what's going in a hospital is going to be way more expensive than what's going in a retail strip center. And those are two completely opposite ends of the spectrum. But to grow that team and that talent that maybe you don't know, or the guy next to you doesn't know, but somebody else down the hall does, right? And growing that team, having everybody in person is really important to us. It's especially as fast paced as what we do is, where projects come in, we need this like now. Can I, get up and walk to the next guy and be like, hey, we got to do this right now. Like pause what you're doing for the next hour or two. This needs to go out the door now for whatever reason, right? It could be a piece of gears down at that facility. We got to put coordination together. We got to do that like today. Or, hey, they need a proposal and a number out. We need help with that and do it in the next 2 hours so that we can have the opportunity to work on the next project. So, from the hard thing, and it's going to continually be a hard thing, is finding just the right people, right? Who you building the team with? What's the team look like? Where's the team located? All that matters. Is the team willing to travel to go places, to, go see clients? That's, to us, one of the biggest things. We're constantly in front of our clients, constantly visiting job sites, are constantly on the phone with it, right? If you're an engineer that doesn't want to talk to people, that's going to be like it's somewhat of a problem, right? Like, it's not going to be the guy that's going to get paid the most in our organization, right? You got to be willing to go talk to clients, solve problems, do those types of things. Not that there isn't a space for an engineer that doesn't want to do that, but it's going to be a hard fit, long term, to do that. Or you're just not going to move up completely in the company, right? As a project manager, senior engineer, you're going to have to talk to people. Like, there's no way around that. So if you're good just coming in and knocking things out, right, and being a crucial part of the team that way, there's going to be a spot for you, but your ceiling's going to be limited based on just the types of projects and people that we end up dealing with, right? You got to be on the phone. You got to go see people. So your ceiling's always going to be limited if you don't want to talk to anybody. So the hardest part has been and will continue to be to find people, right? That's why both of you guys are here this summer. Is we wanted in person. We wanted, talent, and also from like different places, right? And different places around the country, right? From different schools, different areas, bringing different things to the table. So for us, like, there are only 24 hours in the day, and I can only work about 16 of them because I need 8 hours of sleep. Like, any less than that, I start to not function as well. So, I mean, that's been the hardest thing, is just personally the amount of hours and the ridiculous amount of travel that I end up doing, while still getting projects done. Right? You can do a lot in a hotel room, but it's a lot different than having, your normal setup, right, to do projects. So it'll still be a problem. It's always going to be a problem. People is the business is people. So the more that we can, better our systems, our training to bring on guys, to have that cohesiveness across intern classes and new hires and everything else, the better that we're going to be. That is this episode of the Construction Corner podcast. Until next time.